They say some talents are born under bright lights. Others are sharpened in quiet rooms, far from applause. Valerie Simmons never sought the spotlight. For her, the soft thud of a dart meeting cork had always been a private sound. One tied not to trophies, but to memory, to love, to loss. In her modest living room, worn wooden floorboards beneath her feet, Valerie stood with a dart between her fingers, her wrist steady, her breath even. She didn't need a crowd to focus, just the echo of her father's voice in her mind. "It's not about strength, Val. It's about rhythm. Trust the throw." She let it fly. Triple 20, her third perfect shot of the day. 10 years had passed since her father, Navy veteran, local legend, and the man who taught her everything about darts, was taken suddenly by a heart attack. But his lessons never left her, especially on nights like this. Her phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. "Don't bail. Alley's 7 p.m. You promised." Valerie sighed. Melissa was relentless. For years, she had begged Valerie to enter the Thursday night dart tournament at Ali's Bar and Grill, the most male-dominated, ego-fueled gathering of dart players in town. Valerie had always declined. Too loud, too proud, too full of men who thought talent had a gender, but today wasn't just any Thursday. It was her father's birthday. And somehow, the idea of playing in public, of honoring him out loud, didn't feel so foolish anymore. She walked to her bedroom and opened a small wooden box. Inside lay her father's handcrafted navy darts, green and gold fletching, engraved with a tiny anchor. He'd won them in a base tournament back in 1985, gave them to Valerie on her 30th birthday with a wink. "When you're ready to show the world, these are yours." Tonight, she'd take them with her. At Ali's, the air was thick with the smell of beer, fried food, and testosterone. Valerie entered quietly, dressed in jeans and a plain white polo. Her ponytail neat. No makeup, no flash, just purpose. She was barely 2 steps in before the glances began. The smirks. The whispers. "Who's that? One of the guys' wives?" "No, she's here for the tournament." "You serious? This ain't darts and crafts night." Frank Donnelly, the reigning local champion, spotted her and grinned. "Well, well," he said loudly, drawing attention. "Ladies' night is Tuesday, sweetheart." Laughter erupted from his corner. Valerie didn't flinch. She stepped forward to the sign-up table where Bill, the longtime tournament director, sat with a clipboard. "Name?" "Valerie Simmons." "First time?" "First time here." She handed him her $20 entry fee and walked toward the back, where a few players were warming up. The whispers followed her. Melissa appeared at her side with 2 drinks. Hers a rum and coke, Valerie's a club soda. "Ignore them," she whispered. "You're better than half these guys. Just breathe." Valerie nodded, her gaze already fixed on the tournament bracket being drawn up. She was the only woman on it. Her name looked out of place among the Franks, the Daves, the Jims, and Mikes. But she didn't care. She hadn't come to prove anything to them. She'd come to play, to honor the man who first taught her how. She sat at the edge of the room away from the crowd and opened the case. The green and gold darts gleamed beneath the overhead lights. A voice beside her interrupted her thoughts. "Those Navy darts?" She turned to see Jake, a younger competitor, bearded, calm-eyed. "They were my father's," she said softly. "Nice. First tournament?" "Here, yes," he smiled. "Well, good luck. You might surprise some people." Valerie smiled back. "Maybe." Across the room, Frank was laughing with his crew, sipping beer and glancing over in her direction. "Hope." "She brought a camera," he joked. "She might want proof she was here before we wipe the floor with her." Valerie didn't respond. She just adjusted her grip on the dart, feeling the weight of it settle perfectly between her fingers. And in that moment, the crowd didn't matter, because this wasn't about them. This was about her, and the game she never stopped loving. The tournament began with the usual bravado. Steel-tipped darts flew, beers clinked, and loud voices boomed with false confidence. Frank Donnelly made sure everyone saw his first throw, a cocky triple 20, followed by 2 fist pumps and a smug grin. "See that?" He barked at no one in particular. "Don't blink, or you'll miss greatness." The regulars cheered. The hierarchy was clear. Frank on top, everyone else below. And somewhere beneath all of them, at least in their eyes, Valerie. She sat quietly near the back, clutching her father's dart case. Waiting, watching, Melissa leaned in. "You good?" Valerie nodded. But inside, the tension simmered. As names were called, players approached the throw line with a practiced swagger. Some threw well. Others relied more on noise than skill. One even danced after landing a bullseye. Valerie's name was called third. There was a noticeable pause as the tournament director, Bill, double-checked the clipboard. "Valerie Simmons, you're up." A murmur rippled through the crowd. "Wait, she's really playing? This should be fun." Bless her heart. Frank leaned toward one of his friends. "This one's gonna be quick. She'll be out before her drink gets warm." Valerie stood, exhaled slowly, and walked to the throw line. Her opponent, a middle-aged man with a beer gut and a baseball cap pulled low, smirked as she approached. "Don't worry," he said with a wink. "I'll take it easy on you." She didn't answer. She simply opened her dart case, pulled out her father's green and gold set, and stepped into position. Her first dart hit the single 20. A few chuckles. The second dart landed just below the triple ring. Still decent. The third, a clean, perfect throw, stuck into the triple 20. Her total? 81, not bad, not flashy, but solid. Her opponent stepped up and promptly threw a 26. Suddenly, the laughter dulled, just a little. In the next round, Valerie landed a triple 20, a triple 19, and a single 12. 99 points. She was pulling ahead. The chuckles were replaced by silence. Frank's group fell unusually quiet. By her fourth round, Valerie had established a rhythm that couldn't be ignored, calculated, consistent, focused. "She's good," someone whispered near the bar. "Really good." Her opponent fumbled 2 darts, visibly rattled. His accuracy collapsed. Melissa, watching from the sidelines, tried not to look smug. "That's right," she muttered under her breath. "Let him choke on it." Valerie didn't. Look up. She didn't taunt. She didn't boast. She just played. With every throw, she carved her space into the room, one triple ring at a time. When she ended the match with a clean double 16 to finish the game, a few patrons actually clapped. Bill, the director, raised his eyebrows and jotted something on the bracket. "Frank Donnelly?" He stopped mid-sip. Valerie collected her darts and stepped off the line. Her opponent offered a weak handshake, eyes wide. "Where'd you learn to throw?" "Like that?" She smiled softly. "Sundays, with my dad." The mockery hadn't vanished completely, but it had been wounded. The room was adjusting, watching her now with suspicion and something else. Respect. Her second match was faster, sharper, cleaner. Valerie didn't say a word. She didn't need to. Every throw told a story, each dart a sentence, each round a chapter. Precision, patience, power, but never forced. The crowd, once dismissive, started inching closer. Slowly, like witnesses to something they couldn't yet explain. By her third match, the bar was no longer just watching. It was listening. Listening to the sound of darts slicing through air. Listening to the rhythm of a woman who had, without warning, taken control of a room that didn't want her there. Frank watched, too. From the back, arms folded, jaw tight. This wasn't a fluke anymore. It was a threat. Valerie stood at the throw, line, eyes on the board, blocking out everything else. She adjusted her stance just slightly, like her father taught her. Find your balance. Set your feet. Let the throw do the work. The next 3 darts hit like a lightning strike. Triple, 20, triple 20, triple 19 won 177 points. The bar didn't cheer. Not yet. It just stopped. Stopped laughing. Stopped judging. Stopped assuming. Phones lowered. Drinks were forgotten. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even Bill, the tournament director, stopped scribbling and just stared. Her opponent stood frozen, holding his darts like they might burn him. The buzz of the room had shifted, from ridicule to reverence. Then came the moment no one expected. Valerie stepped forward for her finishing throw. She needed 32 points. She landed it in one clean shot. Double 16. Game, and still. No one moved. Not out of disrespect, but awe. She walked off the line, calm. unshaken. The way her father used to, not when he won a game, but when he did something important. And this was important. Because tonight wasn't just about darts. It was about what happens when the underestimated stop hiding. What happens when quiet strength finally speaks, and when it does. The world has no choice but to listen. The final round was set. Valerie Simmons versus Frank Donnelly, the underdog versus the reigning champion. One woman, quiet, modest, unknown. One man, loud, confident, undefeated. Ali's Bar and Grill had never felt so full, not with people, but with pressure. This wasn't just a match anymore, it was a reckoning. Frank strutted to the line first. He played to the crowd, flashing a grin, tapping the side of his dart like it was a weapon. Valerie followed, steady, not smiling, not frowning. Just ready, she opened her case. The green and gold darts caught the light. Her father's darts, the same ones she'd used alone in her living room week after week, year after year. Now they were center stage. Frank threw first, strong start, triple 20, single 19, triple 18. He turned, smirking. Valerie stepped forward. She didn't rush. She never did. Her first dart, triple 20, second, another triple 20, third, triple 20.180, a perfect round. The bar erupted, not with noise, but with disbelief. Frank's smirk faltered. He hadn't lost. Yet. But he knew. This wasn't the same quiet woman he mocked hours ago. This was someone who came to win, and win with grace. Frank's next round was solid, but not perfect. And Valerie? She didn't miss. Her eyes never left the board. Her hand never shook. It was like watching time fold in on itself. All those years of quiet practice pouring out in a single match. Each dart flew like it remembered every Sunday afternoon with her father, every lesson, every moment no one else saw. Then came her final shot. She needed double 16 to win the championship. Ali's Bar held its breath. Valerie raised her arm. Her fingertips didn't tremble. They remembered. She let go. The dart landed, center of the double ring. Game, set, champion. For a second, just a second, no one reacted. Not because they didn't believe it, but because they did. They had just seen something undeniable. Frank, silent for the first time all night, dropped his hand to his side. Slowly he nodded. He didn't clap. He didn't congratulate. He simply understood. His time at the top had ended, not with a fight, but with a lesson. Valerie turned away from the board, clutching the case of her father's darts, and somewhere in the crowd a voice called out, "That's how it's done." Applause erupted, this time not out of surprise, but out of respect. And just like that, the woman no one saw coming had become the name no one would forget. It was over. Valerie Simmons, the woman no one knew, the woman everyone mocked, was now the undisputed champion. The trophy was small, humble, but it didn't need to be grand. It wasn't about the prize, it was about being seen. And finally, she was. Jake, the respectful newcomer, was the first to reach her. "That was incredible," he said, shaking her hand like a fellow pro. "Not a novelty. I hope you'll join our league. We could learn a lot from you." Even Bill, the long-time tournament director who'd seen it all, looked at her like he was seeing something new. "Valerie," he said, "you didn't just win tonight. You raised the bar." Melissa ran up, laughing through tears. "I told you," she beamed. "Didn't I tell you?" Valerie smiled, not proud, not loud, just full. Then Frank approached. His eyes were tired, his ego bruised. But there was no arrogance left, just respect. He extended his hand. "Where'd you really learn to throw like that?" he asked, quieter now. Valerie looked at him. "I told you," she said gently. "My father taught me. Sometimes the simple truth is the hardest to believe." Behind her, Commander Wilson stepped forward. Old Navy cap. Steady eyes. He didn't say much, just rested a hand on her shoulder, and that was enough. The crowd around them had changed. The laughter that had greeted her hours ago had turned into admiration. The smirks had turned into silence. And silence had turned into applause. Valerie wasn't just the champion of a barroom tournament. She was the proof that talent doesn't ask for permission, that greatness doesn't always announce itself, that sometimes the quiet ones have the loudest victories. Valerie didn't walk into Ali's bar and grill to prove anything. She wasn't there to challenge anyone. She was there for a memory, for her father, for herself. But that night, something bigger happened. She reminded everyone. Watching that quiet doesn't mean weak, that humility doesn't mean inexperience, and that the ones you overlook are sometimes the ones who leave the deepest mark. It wasn't her flawless throws, or the final shot, or even the trophy. It was the why behind it all, the years she played alone, the grief she carried silently, the gift she never flaunted, just nurtured. Her story wasn't just about darts. It was about dignity, about legacy, about stepping into the light after a lifetime of standing in the shadows. She didn't come to win, but she did. And in doing so, she won something far greater than applause. She earned respect and gave every unseen, underestimated person a reason to stand tall. Have you ever been dismissed because of how you looked, where you came from, or simply because you didn't fit their idea of what talent looks like? Valerie's story is a reminder. You don't have to be loud to be powerful, and you don't have to be flashy to be unforgettable. Sometimes all it takes is one moment, one chance to be seen. Share this story with someone who needs that. Reminder today, maybe you need it too. And if you believe in quiet strength, in second chances, and in proving them wrong without ever raising your voice, then hit that subscribe button. We tell stories that shine a light on the unexpected. And in the comments, let us know. Where are you watching from today? Because no matter where you are, your story matters. And your moment might be just one shot away.